Coming up on DC News Now.
Heavy rain and strong wind gusts arrive this evening. We'll let you know if any of this nasty weather sticks around into the weekend.
A new face takes the reins of the Washington Commanders. Everything we now know about their newly hired general manager. Plus, some untimely metro closures leading to long lines for commuters ahead of the holiday weekend. Then, cases of COVID, the flu, and RSV all on the rise.
The season has started a lot later.
A local doctor shares how you can stay safe in what's going around. And what's the best phone plan for your budget? We're helping you stay connected while stretching your dollar.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thanks for joining us on this Friday for DC News Now. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Annalisa Gale. It's another DMV first warrant day with more rain in our area this afternoon. Let's take a live look outside. This is the National Cathedral here, Mark.
Yeah, what a difference a day makes. Remember, it was sunny yesterday, mostly cloudy today. Let's get over to meteorologist Damon Madsen with a first look at our forecast.
All right, Damon.
Yeah, hey, that cloud cover out there looks like it wants to rain again. And yeah, folks, very shortly here, we will start to see that soggy weather. As a matter of fact, on the radar picture here, that leading edge of the rainfall is starting to show up back across the Allegheny front down into the Blue Ridge Mountains, parts of West Virginia, western Maryland, seeing that first little bit of rainfall. And within the next hour or two, we will see this rain overspread the entire DMV, including the DC Metro and I-95 corridor, as we gear up for this next shot of rainfall. And it's all caused by this storm system that's taking a similar path to the one that we saw on Tuesday. Look at all of that rainfall with some heavier pockets there in the yellow beginning to move eastward. And again, all of that will sweep across the viewing area with some wind associated with it as well. The rain may not be here just yet, but the wind is already starting to pick up, as we have had some occasional gusts over 30 miles per hour, like in Manassas there over the last couple of hours. So it's that combination of rain and wind that could be causing us some problems as we go into the night tonight, with the worst of this storm system expected as we head into the first half of your Friday night. Pockets of steady to heavy rainfall, some strong gusty winds could lead to some isolated instances of flooding, as well as some power outages, pretty similar to what we saw on Tuesday. But the good news is the time frame with this storm system seems to be shorter lived overall. So we'll talk about when we can expect those worst impacts from this latest storm system, where the heaviest rain could fall across the viewing area, and we're going to talk about how long some of this wind could linger as we go into the upcoming weekend. That's all coming up here in your full forecast in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Meanwhile, residents and businesses in some parts of the DMV are still feeling the impacts of Tuesday's storm system. DC News Now's crews were in Alexandria this morning, where they noticed some standing water from earlier in the week. Some businesses still have sandbags as well set up to hopefully mitigate any flooding. And local runners we spoke to said they're keeping a close eye on this forecast.
We saw some of the flooded streets, and we saw like how they were like, you know, people were not happy and they were getting wet, and it wasn't easy to run in for sure.
Get to like some higher ground, get on top of the hill, and just be safe. You don't got to leave the house. Don't leave the house.
The city of Alexandria provided more than 500 sandbags ahead of Tuesday's storm. Prince George's County has also been providing sandbags for homes and businesses ahead of tonight's rain.
And you could stay up to date on the storm and how it could impact you on our DC News Now weather app. Just scan the QR code on your screen to download the app on your device.
Well, turning now, trouble for commuters in D.C. and Northern Virginia tonight. Closures and detours along Metro's blue, orange, and silver lines could derail your long weekend plans, Mark.
Well, our Randy Bass is live at the Clarendon Metro Station this afternoon as frustrated commuters try to navigate around the closures. And Randy, how are things there right now?
Yeah, Mark, Annalisa, people and commuters here tonight are having to jump on shuttle buses to try and get around the commuter chaos here tonight. Take a live look at what those lines are looking like right now. Not very long, but even just a few moments ago, those lines stretched all the way back to where we are now. Several dozen people in line, but as those buses come, those lines start to go. Check out this video we shot earlier this afternoon when those lines really started to build around 2:30. Those lines stretched down the block with dozens of commuters waiting to catch the shuttle buses. Now through Monday, there is no service between the Foggy Bottom Metro Station and Arlington Cemetery on the Blue Line. On the Orange and Silver lines, no service between Foggy Bottom and Clarendon. Roslyn and Courthouse Metro stations are closed through Monday. Commuters we talked to say they were frustrated by the timing of this closure.
Maybe just keep it on the weekend and try to, do it during like the low, hours. Have more improvements going on during the middle of the night. Because if you're not going to run Metro 24/7, the least you could do is have the improvements go on during the night and not, cause all this chaos around rush hour.
Yeah, another thing commuters we talked to tell us they're frustrated about tonight, a lack of signage, nothing really telling you where to go or which bus you should get on. Again, something we're going to be following through the weekend. Be sure to stick with DC News Now for updates. For now, live in Arlington, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, Randy, thank you. Well, new this afternoon, we're learning more about DC's temporary SNAP benefits plan known as Give SNAP Raise. That's the slogan they went with. It offers district residents who receive SNAP a temporary increase of no more than 10% of the federal maximum for households. That increase is a percentage based, so larger households get larger benefits. The new benefit runs through September 30th of this year. Each household receiving SNAP will get a notice, which is scheduled to be mailed out on February 17th. And an update this afternoon out of Virginia on the two Loudoun County Sheriff's deputies who were seriously injured in a car crash. One of them has since been released from the hospital. That crash happened near Watson Road and Manbar Lane yesterday morning. Investigators say the two deputies were clearing a different crash in Leesburg when a teen driver struck them. Officials believe icy roads could have played a role. The cause of the crash, though, is still under investigation.
Well, the fate of thousands of acres and hundreds of millions of dollars hangs in the scales in Prince William County. In December, the county board greenlit rezoning of rural land to make way for the data center development. Despite experts advising against the project, many families in the area agreed to sell their land to developers for big bucks. Now the fight heads to court. Two lawsuits allege the board violated the law when it approved the project. Some say the project would completely transform life in the area.
So will we move? I don't know. We love to go outside. We love to look at animals. We love, the peace and quiet. Now, will we be restricted so we don't even go outside because of noise or breathing diesel emissions?
And more on the lawsuits ahead on DC News Now.
Also in the Commonwealth, the countdown is on, and officials are reminding Virginians they have until next Tuesday, January 16th, to apply for health insurance through the state marketplace. This year, Virginia launched its own health insurance marketplace to replace the federal marketplace known as healthcare.gov. The state exchange, which replaced the federal marketplace in November, has seen a 12% increase in enrollment compared to last year. Despite that, though, Delegate Mark Sickles says there's still work to be done to ensure all Virginians still have insurance.
The undocumented population, frankly, they're a big part of the uninsured population that don't qualify for Medicaid and are served by our free clinic community, and that's going to take a change in federal law.
Now, although open enrollment ends next Tuesday, Virginians can still sign up if they have a certain life event after the deadline, including losing their job.
Well, turning now to sports, Annalisa, just days after the Washington Commanders played their final game. New owner Josh Harris has made his biggest move so far, hiring Adam Peters as head of football operations.
On Monday, the team parted ways with former head coach Ron Rivera, and right now Harris is focusing on the front office before hiring Rivera's replacement.
Yeah, Brandy Flores is in for sports director Derek Forrest. And Brandy, this appears to be a great hire for the Commanders.
Mark and Elisa, to say the least, majority owner Josh Harris has caught the biggest fish in the sea. He's hired San Francisco's 49ers assistant general manager Adam Peters to lead the Washington Commanders front office. And according to multiple reports, Peters' title will be general manager. This is a huge get for this franchise, as Peters was the top candidate across the league for open general manager positions. And most thought he would be elevated to GM in San Francisco by the end of the season. But after a meeting with Josh Harris in Miami earlier this week, Peters decided to run the ship in Washington. He has 21 years in the league, in which that time he has helped the Niners, Patriots, and Broncos win 13 divisional titles, 6 conference championships, and 3 Super Bowls. So Commanders fans, get excited by the numbers. Peters is the best man to help turn this franchise around. And the next big step for Peters will be to assess the rest of the current front office and help pick a new head coach to lead this team. We'll be covering this major move all night here on DC News Now. And of course, tonight on Game Night at 11, we dive deeper into how this new hire of Adam Peters affects the search for the new head coach. So be sure to tune in to Game Night at 11 o'clock on WDVM. In the studio, I'm Brandy Flores. Back to you guys at the desk.
All right.